and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren, and today I'm looking at a Lindsay Nicole video. This is episode 3 of the Lineages of Cats videos. This one is the longest one so far. Not one of her longest videos, obviously, but one of the longest of this particular series. So we're looking at 8 lineages of cats that we know of. I've been enjoying these cats videos. I enjoy the Lindsay Nicole videos always. And I'm looking forward to seeing what she's got to tell me. Let's go.
Hello. Check
Hi.
it out. Man, I love felines. Because you already know what the
I do love that.
Hello. Check it out. Man, I love felines. Because
That
you already know what the is going on.
is a
Cats.
pretty good-
When you hear the word cat, your brain probably goes to this, the little freaks that run your households. But the reality is the world of cats extends much further than that. Lions are cats. Leopards are cats. There's climbing cats, swimming cats. A whole world of cats waiting to be explored. You bet your ass that's what we're doing today. There are 39. There's 39 species of cats, and today I'm gonna introduce you to them. Some I'm willing to bet you don't even know existed. Without further
Probably.
ado, my name
That
is
sounds
Lindsay
right.
Nicole, and this is the history of cats that we know of. Let's get the general information out of the way. If you're familiar with this series so far, you'll know one thing to be true about the cat lineage. It's muddy as fuck. That still applies to our cats today. How different species are classified, especially for the smaller, more elusive cats, is a little iffy. Different places will tell you a different amount of cat species. I'm gonna be going off the IUCN's cat classifications list, just so you know. And also, FYI, if you haven't watched the other episodes of this series, you're just tuning in for these cats, that's okay. Everyone can enjoy these cats, no matter the lack of prerequisites.
You should watch the others.
Cats have been around for like 30 million years, starting with the first true cat that we know of, Proailurus from France. Then there was a cat gap in the fossil record, which extends like 10 million years, and then boom, the next cats show up, spread out all over the place. Pseudailurus. Pseudailurus led to a major split in the cat lineage between the saber-toothed cats and all the modern cats that we know and love today. Last time we talked about the extinct saber-toothed cats, which all belong to the subfamily Machaerodontidae. Today our focus is on their sister group, the modern cats, the conical-toothed cats, called feline.
The ones who live.
So, all members of this group are the felines. They have shorter, more rounded canines compared to the blade-like sabers of the Machaerodonts. And also, what we do know is that the saber-toothed cats evolved from a version of Pseudailurus in Europe. All of the modern cats, or the conical-toothed cats, the ones we're focused on today, evolved from a version of Pseudailurus in Asia. That is the feline ancestor alive 10.8 million years ago. Because they're the last cats standing, their tooth shape is the one we think of as the default. But if you watched the last episode, you'll know that was not always the case. I'm gonna tell you how I decided to organize a video because we have a lot of shit to get through. I wanna make sure it doesn't get confusing. Based on genetic evidence, all cats alive today can be organized into 8 different branches of the cat family tree. That's how we're organizing this video. We're gonna go through each of the branches in the order that they diverged. What do I mean by that? Each of the 8 lineages can be traced back to an ancestor that diverged or split off from the rest of the group a certain amount of years ago. Let's take the Panthera lineage, all the big cats. They were the first to split off about 10.8 million years ago. This means their common ancestor with the rest of modern cats was alive 10.8 million years ago. So that's the most recent common ancestor of all modern cats. Within all of the big cats that cluster on the right, they share a common ancestor.
I guess in the grand scheme of things, that's not that far off, huh? Like, right? That's not, in the grand scheme of how long things have been around.
Alive more recently, 6.4 million years ago, because this diagram is only showing the cats still alive today. Obviously, a lot more was going on within each lineage, like extinct species, extinct branches that existed, but are technically irrelevant to how all of the modern species relate to each other. So you can think of this little section as currently irrelevant shenanigans. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah,
I will. The Bay cat lineage, the next one down. The big cat split off, now they're irrelevant. Now every species left after that split can be traced back to an ancestor alive 9.4 million years ago. At that time, the Bay cat lineage diverged, has been doing their own thing for 9.4 million years, had their little section of irrelevant shenanigans, and then all 3 species of that lineage alive today can be traced back to an ancestor that was alive 5.41 million years ago. For the sake of this video, and going in order of when each group diverged, the dates that matter are the ones coming off of the red line, or the main line, going through each group as they split off.
That's kind of what I thought.
Before we get into those, we have to talk about the last common ancestor between all of the cats, the one that was alive 10.8 million years ago. If you have a feline or 2 at home, or have learned literally anything about cats ever, You know they like their space. And sure, animals migrate in general for their innate need to disperse, take advantage of less tapped resources. But man, oh man, did felines take this to the extreme. Cat behavior alone, dude, their territories are huge. They're pretty solitary most of the time. And if not, males get kicked to the curb once they're old enough. Makes sense that the ancestors ended up moving to new continents entirely.
Right, yes.
Over the last 10 million years, there have been two major waves of migrations. During the first major wave, sea levels were much lower, up to 200 feet below today's, which meant, that's right, bitch, land bridges.
Yeah.
Spread out. When the seas rose again, these populations became isolated from each other, setting the stage for rapid speciation due to genetic drift. Then the second wave came, went absolutely nuts, and all of a sudden, multiple groups were all over the place, dominating to shit. I think we're ready to move on to the lineages. I think you get the gist. I want to give a little heads up. You'll notice some of these 8 sections, and specifically certain species, will be much less talked about than others. While we all know and love cats in general very much, certain branches are a lot more elusive. For some species, really all I have to say is the fact that they exist.
Isn't there like a cat that they like just discovered? Like a cat that they thought was extinct in some like far off jungle, and they thought it was extinct for like a really long time, and then they found one just doing its thing, and then it like disappeared into the ether again.
So that's pretty much all we know. But then others, like the big cats, for example, because people are very interested in them, and they're big, you know? You see them for that reason. I decided the big cats are gonna get their own episode.
Oh, okay.
They deserve it. There's too much to say about them for them to be only one section in this video. This is already a pretty long video. So that will be the next episode of the series.
Okay, cool.
The earliest diverging group of felines, the big cats. I know this might be disappointing, but I hope you understand and are still interested in the rest of these cats.
They'll get their own video,
It's fine. Should be, because they're really cool and also cute.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You decided to stay.
Yeah, we
With
did.
big cats postponed to next time, the next lineage on our list is one of the most mysterious, the bay cats, the bay cat lineage. There's a good chance you've never heard of them. How exciting! New cats. They're like the cryptids of the feline world. For such an elusive branch of cats, it won't surprise you that their fossil record is elusive times a million, as in non-existent. So
Wow.
everything we know about their evolution comes from DNA studies of the living members, which suggests their last common ancestor was around like 5.4 million years ago. Since then, they've been doing their own thing.
Oh, she's sassy. She's like, excuse you, what? Bitch, say what?
Mostly tucked away in the dense forest of Southeast Asia. Before genetic analysis, nobody even realized these cats were closely related. Couldn't even tell. Look different, lifestyle different, but the hips don't lie. Get it? The genes, pants, jeans.
Oh, no,
jeans on
that
the
was a
hips.
stretch,
Finally,
Linz. I loved
starting
it,
off
but
with our
stretch.
first cat, the Asian golden cat. It's the largest of the 3, at up to 35 pounds. They have a
That was stretchy enough, she might as well have called them jeggings.
cat, the Asian golden cat. It's the largest of the 3, at up to 35 pounds. They have a stunning coat that can range from golden red to gray or even black. There's 2 subspecies, one in Sumatra and the Malay Peninsula, and another one that ranges from Nepal all the way through Southeast Asia and into China.
Wow.
These cats eat anything. They don't give a fuck. Rodents, monkeys, reptiles, they're into it. Habitat-wise as well, they don't give a fuck. They're found in lowland forests,
Cool,
all the
good
way
for
up
them.
to 14,000-foot mountains in Bhutan. That's them. Next up, the Borneo
Wow.
bay cat, hence the name of the bay cat lineage. This
Aw,
cat
derp.
might as well be a myth. It's so rare that even people who live in Borneo, where it's found, don't know what it is most of the time. It was first described back in 1874 from a skull that had been sitting around for almost 20 years. For a long time, scientists thought this was just a small version of the Asian golden cat, but the genes don't lie, and showed that the two split off from each other about 4
jeggings.
million years ago, before Borneo even became an island. And there's probably only about 2,200 adult Bornean bay cats left, assuming
Wow.
there's about 1 cat per 100 square kilometers. That is not very many cats. There's no captive cats either, none in zoos, none in rescue centers, nothing, at least that we know of, at least that I could find on the internet. There are some pictures of one that was found in captivity in 2008. They're unfortunately some of the best quality pictures we have of them, because most of what we
Oh.
know comes from camera traps and the occasional sighting, mostly found in lowland forests. thought
This
to be like
might
6
have
to
been the one
9
I was
pounds.
talking about.
Everything else, pretty much a mystery. Even what they eat is unknown. And the last in this branch, the marbled cat. Pretty fucking cute,
She's so
I
cute.
know.
But that Borneo bay, that might have been the one I was thinking of when I was like, there was one that we thought didn't exist, or when, like, you know what? Maybe if I watch the video, I'll find out. Imagine that, me watching a video without pausing to like yap every like 45 milliseconds. What?
Anywhere
Never.
between 4 to 11 pounds, and initially thought to be related to the clouded leopard,
Why is
like a
he so
little
stretched?
teacup clouded leopard, which I can totally see, but the genes said otherwise. This one's a real tree dweller. They are extremely good climbers and climb headfirst down a fucking tree. That's crazy. They're like little
squirrely.
squirrels. Its tail is
Okay.
almost as long as its body and holds it out straight for balance, like a tightrope walker. Marbled cats are found from Nepal to Borneo, mostly in dense forests and at a range of altitudes, up to 12,000 feet above the
Wow.
surface of the ocean. Mostly found during the day. While they love the trees, they are not strictly in the trees. Sometimes they are chilling on the ground, even perhaps in the middle of a road. They like to eat birds, bats, rodents, primates, reptiles, even fish. They seem to be solitary, but have been seen in pairs. Not sure if they were siblings or mates. That's about it on them for now.
Wow.
Next,
We
we're
just-
moving
there's
into
so
the
much we
caracal
don't
branch of
know.
the family tree. Some of these members
I love that there's so much we don't know about things. It's like we know kind of where things are, but like there's so much still to learn about so much. Which is just fun. I love that we we don't know anything about it, but we can learn it. Like they exist, they're here. Maybe we will figure it out. I adore that. I love that we're finding out about new species like every year. Like we're finding something new. There's always something to learn, and I love it.
you're probably more familiar with. I'm sure you've seen the iconic
Yes.
caracal ear flip and the strange and seemingly disproportionate bodies of the serval. But
Servals.
boy, oh boy, is there more to this lineage than that. So let's start at the
let's
beginning.
go.
The caracal line split off from the rest of the cat family about 8.5 million years ago. And then the ancestor of all species alive today existed about 5.6 million years
Okay.
ago. Despite being some of the lesser known residents, this group was the first cat lineage to make the jump from Asia to Africa,
Oh.
way before lions or cheetahs even
for them.
thought of showing up. And this time we do have a fossil record dating back 4 million years, mostly from southern and eastern Africa. But as usual with the cats, fossils are mostly just bits and pieces, i.e., yes, muddy as fuck. So it's hard to say which ancient cats were direct ancestors of today's species. Before DNA testing, nobody thought to group these cats together. They look different, they live in totally different habitats, just like the last group. But
Okay.
once again, the genes don't lie. Caracals, servals, and African golden cats are indeed close cousins. Let's start off with the caracal, the namesake of the branch. The very cute ear
Okay.
twists.
I
Very
like the
stunning in
tufts.
every single way. The name caracal is Turkish and means black ear. They weigh anywhere from 13 to 40 pounds and get up to 4 feet long. They're built like very small athletes, very muscular, long-legged, with a head that looks almost too small for their body. They're found all over Africa, the Middle East, and even into India. They're ridiculously adaptable. They thrive in the
Good for them.
savannas, scrublands, dry forests, even up in the Ethiopian highlands at over 10,000 feet. The only
Wow.
places they avoid are true deserts and dense rainforests, the two polar opposite shit. They're mostly nocturnal, super
yeah.
solitary,
Both
and
very
extremely
extreme environments.
badass. They can leap over 6 feet straight up to snatch
Whoa.
birds out of the air. And they'll take down prey up to 3 times their own size. Antelope, jackals,
Dang.
young kudos, birds up to the size of
Wow.
eagles, dude. And like a lot of cats, they'll sometimes drag bigger kills up into trees to keep them safe from scavengers. If you know me, you might know my background before doing science communication was working with wild cats. I've worked with a caracal before. Her name was Aurora. She was
Cool.
very feisty, liked to hiss and spit. Didn't like people very much. Why would she? I personally love when cats are feisty.
I do
Okay,
too.
next
It's
up,
fun.
the African golden cat. If you've never heard of this one, you're not alone. It's easily Africa's most mysterious wild cat.
Ooh.
The African golden cat lives in dense rainforests of West and Central Africa, and it's so secretive that the first wild photo of one wasn't taken until 2002. They're about the size of a bobcat.
Maybe that's the one I was talking about. Like I know there's like something that I heard there was a really, really recent photo taken of a cat that we like just didn't know anything about. I couldn't remember what kind it was. I was thinking the Bay. It might have been this one because I remember it being I didn't read about it in 2002. I read about it recently, but there was like a cat that was rediscovered or like finally got a photo of it. Like I'm adding so much to this conversation.
Cat weighing 15 to 35 pounds. Their coats range from golden to gray, sometimes spotted, sometimes plain. They're solitary, mostly nocturnal, or out in the twilight, and are almost never seen by people. And they eat a ton of shit. Rodents, birds, monkeys, dikers, even pangolins. They're thought to
Dang.
compete with leopards for food, which is pretty badass. And in places where leopards are common, golden cats probably switch up their schedules to avoid them. And
Makes
last but not
sense.
least, the serval, my favorite of the branch. I've worked with many a serval in my time, and and they are nuts. They are completely insane. In my opinion, they look
Fun.
nuts. They've got
They
the
do look a little
longest
nuts.
legs relative to body size of any cat, huge ears, and their tail is just too small, in my opinion.
small.
Servals weigh between 15 to 40 pounds and can stand nearly 2 feet tall at the shoulder. They're found all over sub-Saharan Africa, especially in wetlands, reed beds, and grasslands. And they are rodent hunting specialists. They use those giant ears to pinpoint prey in the grass. And then they leap, sometimes over 10 feet in the air, to
Whoa!
pounce or snatch birds straight out of flight. Their hunting success
Wild!
is outrageous, up to 50% overall, and over 80% for rodents specifically. Bad thing to
Wow.
be a rodent with a serval.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
they'll also eat birds, frogs, insects, reptiles, fish, etc. From my experience working with them, they tend to be pretty sensitive eaters. I don't know if that's a captivity thing, but they really liked chicken. So
Oh.
one thing across the board, they all fucked with. Chicken. Moving
Yum.
on to the next
I like
split
chicken.
in the feline tree.
I'm hungry.
The ocelot line. One of the most diverse
Ocelot.
and successful branches of the cat family, with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6,
Are you done?
Shit.
but 7
Dang.
species of cats. That's
Whoa.
right, bitch. Buckle up. This lineage first split from the rest of the cat family about 8 million years ago, originally evolving in North America. But the real explosion of diversity didn't happen until about 2.9 million years ago, when their ancestors crossed the newly formed Panama Land Bridge into South America. This was a big deal at the time. This is what they call a biotic interchange. North American residents were now meeting South American residents for the first time. It was like a wall of death. Boom. Ecosystems got shook the fuck up. This allowed the ocelot line to diversify to shit across Central and South America. One weird thing that happened along the way. All members of this lineage have fewer chromosomes than other cats.
Oh.
Most cats have 38. The ocelot lineage has 36. This was
Whoa.
apparently due to 2 chromosomes fusing together at some point millions of years ago, in a way that allowed that mutation to pass down through
Oh,
generations.
sick.
It's called a Robertsonian translocation, and it does not hurt the cats.
Okay,
So now,
good.
let's meet the cats. Starting out with, you guessed it, the ocelot. The
Ocelot.
largest, most well-known, and most adaptable of the group. They're all over the place, with some found from Texas
They're
through
so
Arizona,
pretty.
all the way down to northern Argentina. They like rainforests, mangroves, thorn scrub, even the mountains. They just like to hang out. They're
Yeah,
solitary and
just
mostly
vibing.
nocturnal, and both excellent climbers and swimmers. When threatened, they'll escape into the trees or go for a quick dip without hesitation. Ocelots weigh between 17 and 33 pounds and can reach nearly 5 feet long, including the tail, which,
Wow.
for reference, is probably here if I were to be horizontal.
Right.
They eat everything from rodents, monkeys, birds, snakes, and even crabs. They go wherever, eat whatever. They're like the golden retriever girlfriend. But because of this, they're so dominant in some areas that they can actually push out smaller, more high maintenance or specialist cats. A phenomenon
That
called
tracks.
the ocelot effect that researchers are still figuring out if it actually exists or not. Personally, I like the sound of it. All right,
do too.
next. Take an ocelot, make it smaller, make it act more like a squirrel. Scrunch up its face a little bit. You've got yourself a margay. They look like they got nothing going on in their brain. Margays are smaller than ocelots at 5 to 11 pounds. They have massive eyes and a tail that's nearly as long as their
It does give me bush baby eyes, you know? Like, they're big. Little anime eyes on this cat.
body. Their hind paws can rotate 180 degrees to help with gripping the trees. Another
Wow.
cat that can climb down trees head first, or even hang from a branch by one hind foot. They love the trees. They spend
for
most of
them.
their day there. But weirdly, they do most of their hunting on the ground. I guess they enjoy a little work-life balance. They eat small mammals, birds, lizards, and one time in Brazil, a margay was apparently seen trying to attract a tamarin by mimicking their calls, which is very cute if you ask me. But next
And
up,
terrifying.
personally, this one is my favorite tiny cat, the Andean mountain cat. They
Aw.
are so cute and also extremely elusive. They're considered one of the rarest cats in the world. They've only been photographed a handful of times. Back in 2018, 2 scientists were able to photograph one for 2 hours,
Wow.
which was a huge deal.
That's
So
crazy.
most of the pictures you see of Andean mountain cats are that single
Oh,
cat.
that one was just super vibing, huh? Good for you, little mountain cat.
Because, like their name suggests, this cat lives up in the mountains of Peru, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, sometimes at altitudes over 16,000 feet. This cat
Holy
wants
shit.
absolutely nothing to do with us, and I respect that. That's why I like
Fair.
them so much.
Me neither.
They're about the size of a large house cat with a thick, bushy tail and a dense coat to survive the cold. They like
I just want to
eat
squish it.
mountain viscachas, which are big rabbit-like rodents. But if they have to, they'll eat birds, lizards, insects. I would like to see this cat one day, but I also respect the possibility that I won't, if that means they get to exist in peace. Next up is the pampas cat. Very similar vibe to the Andean mountain cat.
I've heard of this
in some cases, but got a lot of different looks going. Different colors and patterns. It can look like anything from a spotted tabby to a solid orange cat, but share the common theme of looking perpetually pissed off. I feel like this one is Koya. I'm not gonna pick her up again because she would be very pissed, but a reminder, this is Koya. I think she is a pampas cat. The pampas cat is a little bigger than Koya. It's found all across South America, from the Andes to the grasslands of Argentina, Chile, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay.
This is a shade of Chile.
The grasslands of Argentina, Chile.
Why is she throwing so much shade?
Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay. They're mainly terrestrial hunters feeding on rodents, lizards, and birds. They've also been seen raiding penguin nests for eggs and chicks in Patagonia. They don't give a fuck. Next, Jeffrey's cat is probably the most common wild cat in the temperate regions of southern South America. Southern South America. Weigh 6 to 13 pounds and are found in everything. Dense forests, grasslands, coastal ecosystems, even deserts. They're solitary, mostly nocturnal, and excellent swimmers. There's even a record of one crossing a fast-flowing river 20 times in a single day. I would like to know what it was up to. They're generalists, eating rodents, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish.
Maybe it was getting like Men in Black flashy thing. It was trying to get to one place and then forgot what it was doing, so it went back, and then it remembered what it was supposed to do, and then it was like, all right, but then it swam so far, it's like, wait, what was I doing again? I don't know, let's go back.
Whatever is available on the menu. Next up, if you haven't already, you bitches are gonna freak. This is the cod. The smallest cat in the Americas and one of the smallest cats in the world that we know of. Adults can weigh as little as 3.3 pounds. They're found in the temperate forests of Chile and Argentina, and they like it where the understory is dense to hide and be elusive. Cods are good climbers and will shelter in trees, but most of their hunting happens on the ground. They eat rodents, birds, and reptiles. This tiny cat is mighty and fierce, not to be fucked with. And the last two on the list are the northern and southern tiger cats. Used to be thought as one species. Genetics came in the mix. Split them up, but I'm gonna keep them together for the time being, because they got the same kind of shit going on. They're both small, elusive, very cute. Found in rainforests, scrublands,
most of these cats are very cute.
And even up into the mountains. Another one that hunts on the ground and likes to be in the trees. Otherwise, that's all for now on Net. Unfortunately, I've never worked with any of the species in the ocelot lineage, at least yet. But the next lineage, I've got 3 out of 4 under my belt. The lynx line. All these cats belong to the same genus, lynx. Their ancestors initially diverged 7.2 million years ago in North America, and then irrelevant business, and now all share a common ancestor that was alive 3.2 million years ago. Some of them made their way to Eurasia, but nevertheless, all cats in this genus have the same kind of shit going on. Pointy ears, nub tails, and they love to hunt rabbits. Fossils of the lynx line are actually pretty common, unlike a lot of other cats, showing up in both Eurasia and North America, dating all the way back to the late Miocene. The earliest definitive lynx fossil is Lynx issiodorensis, from the Pliocene and Pleistocene of Europe. There's even a lynx species from Morocco in the Pleistocene, so they made a little brief appearance in Africa. And today, like I said, there are 4 lynx species gracing our planet. We're gonna start off with the one that's had a very insane comeback story, the Iberian lynx, found in Spain and Portugal, i.e. the Iberian Peninsula. This lynx was on the brink of extinction
I like how distinguished his little beard is. It's a very distinguished little beard.
Decades ago, with fewer than 50 mature individuals left. But thanks to a massive conservation effort, their numbers have rebounded to over 2,000 as of 2024. About 700 of those being adults. They've gone from endangered to vulnerable on the IUCN. So, round of applause to the Eurasian lynx and to the organizations that made that happen. Iberian lynx are rabbit specialists. European rabbits make up 80 to 100% of their diet. They're pretty picky about habitat, sticking to Mediterranean forests and shrublands where rabbits thrive. They're mostly nocturnal with home ranges that shrink or grow depending on rabbit abundance. Besides rabbits, they'll also eat rodents.
See, if they went to Chicago, we have a million rabbits. There's so many rabbits everywhere. A lot of rats too, but like, there's got to be a warren or something near my house because there's constantly a million rabbits.
Birds, even small deer. And they've been known to kill but not eat other carnivores like foxes and feral cats. Next up, the Eurasian lynx, the heavyweight of the group. The largest lynx species and one of the most widespread wild cats on the planet. Its range stretches from Western Europe all the way to the Pacific coast of Russia. They are all over the place, in dense forests, rocky mountains, steppe, and even over 15,000 feet in elevation. Most of them are in Russia. Makes sense, Russia's huge. And my favorite thing about them is their scientific name, Lynx. Eurasian
Lynx,
lynx are
lynx.
solitary and quite territorial. Males can have home ranges up to 400 square miles. Powerful hunters, taking prey up
pretty
to
good.
4 times their own size. Deer, even reindeer. They're also expert climbers and swimmers with thick fur and huge furred paws for snow travel.
big.
But their paws have got nothing on the next lynx on the list, the Canada lynx. The snow
Canada lynx.
specialist, built for life in the boreal forests of Alaska and Canada, with the occasional dip into the northern United States. Their paws are nuts. They
Look how
look
big.
like mittens attached to them. Because of that, they
So
act
cute.
like snowshoes, letting them float over the deep snow where other predators sink. Canada lynx are almost entirely dependent.
It looks like there's like a person in there. Like that doesn't look like a cat. Like the way it's walking with his butt up in the air.
On snowshoe hares. These make up 60 to 97% of their diet. So when hare numbers crash, which happens every 8 to 11 years, lynx populations crash as well. And they just go like this. They just
Makes
follow
sense.
each other like this all the time. And the last lynx on the list, of course, the bobcat. Not this
Bobcat.
bobcat, but this bobcat. You already know what the fuck is going on. Bobcats are widespread, adaptable,
Yep, they're
found all the way
everywhere.
from southern Canada to central Mexico. It's the most common wild cat in North America, with millions living in the US alone.
I've seen
And
a
they're found
bobcat
all
or
over the
two.
place. And sometimes at a time where you would not like to find a bobcat. People walking through forests of night have taken videos of what sounds like a woman screaming,
Nope.
but is actually just a bobcat.
Yep.
Heinous, but just a bobcat nonetheless. Now we're moving on to a lineage
I've
of
seen a
slightly
couple.
larger sizes. The puma lineage. There's a chance you didn't realize they were
Puma.
separate from the big cats. Pumas are very large cats. Within this lineage
Very
is also
muscly
the cheetah,
cats.
another pretty large cat. Once again, the truth is in the genes. Also, cheetahs and pumas can't roar like most other big cats. They do plenty of other shit though, like meowing, hissing, spitting. I've been spit on by both of them actually. You know
Wow.
what? Koya spits too. Maybe Koya belongs in the puma lineage, which, by the way, also includes the jaguarundi. Different vibe than the other two, but share the same roots nonetheless.
look
and
at
you know
him.
what? Fun little game. If you have a cat
That guy looked a little ottery, huh?
of your own at home, let me know what wild cat you think they are in the comments. I'll go first. I think Koya is a mix of a puma and a pampas cat. Mixes are allowed. I'll allow a mix.
All right,
the puma
fine.
line split from the other cats around 6.7 million years ago, with its earliest ancestors evolving in North America. Once again, this group's fossil record is muddy as fuck. Kind of jumps all over the
Shocking.
place because, by the way, you've got pumas in the Americas, jaguarundi in South America, and the cheetah all the way over in Africa, historically Eurasia as well. This
That
group
like jaguarundi thing, it looks kind of like if an otter and a snake had a weird baby.
spread the fuck out. But the earliest definite fossils in this lineage are from cheetah-like cats in Africa, dating back 3.8 to 3.4 million years. The cheetah's ancestors migrated
look
from
so
North
tired
America
and
back
done.
into Eurasia and Africa, while the puma's ancestors stayed behind, eventually spreading it south into South America and surviving the massive Pleistocene extinctions that wiped out most of North America's big mammals.
Good for
There's
them.
even evidence of puma-like cats in Eurasia, like Puma pardoides, suggesting ancient relatives once roamed from Europe to Asia. There was also the American cheetah during the Ice Age, but they were more closely related to pumas, but convergently evolved cheetah-like traits. But the modern puma story really takes off
Anxiety?
in South America, where it survived the Ice Age and later recolonized North America about 8 to 10,000 years ago, when the Ice Age ended. Today, the puma is the most widely distributed wild cat in the Western Hemisphere, literally all over the Americas, top to bottom, Canada to Chile. They can weigh anywhere from 60 to 270 pounds, with those in colder regions like Canada and southern Chile
Chunk.
growing nearly twice as
Chunky,
large
chunky,
as their
chunky.
tropical cousins. Also, males are much bigger than females, sometimes by like 60%. Pumas are built for power and agility. They have the largest hind legs of any cat,
Wow.
proportionally, allowing them
them
to leap up
gams.
18 feet straight up or nearly 40 feet horizontally. That's
Whoa!
nuts. They can sprint up to 50 miles per hour, almost catching up to their supercharged cousins. And their long, flexible spines, similar to those of cheetahs,
Whoa!
help them twist
40.
and turn in pursuit of prey. Oh, also, by the way, they have 3 common names, which confused the fuck out of me as a kid. Puma, mountain lion, cougar. I guess panther, too. Sometimes people call them panthers, even though that one's wrong. But hey, like I said last time, common names are common names. Who knows why they happen? So maybe 3.5 common names. I'm counting
Mountain
panther as
lion.
half a name. Probably the craziest thing about pumas is their vocalizations. Like I kind of mentioned before, they've got quite the range. Chirps, hisses, growls, spits, and even screams.
Wow.
Nope. Nope.
Kind of like the bobcat, I've seen many horror videos on TikTok of their screams getting mistaken for a woman in danger at night. Both of them, dude, I get it. I think I would have a heart attack if I was, for some reason, in the forest in the middle of the night and heard that. That would be my cue to bounce, existentially.
No camping.
All right, moving on to the lesser-known jaguarundi, the misfit of the group for sure. A long, slinky cat, sometimes called the otter cat because it looks like an otter.
Actually, it looks like an otter.
Talked about them in my tiny cats that can swim video because I thought they could swim. Look at them, called the fucking otter cat, but actually they don't. So I was bamboozled. The jaguarundi is found all throughout Central and South America, from the border of the US and Mexico all the way down through South Central Argentina. You get to about 20 pounds and like to eat small vertebrates, particularly mammals, such as rats and small rodents. Really whatever it can get its little paws on. That's really it. They're just chilling. And good for them, looking like that, you know? And of course, my personal favorite, the cheetah.
Love a
The
cheetah.
Pumaline superstar sprinter used to be found in Eurasia, now only found in Africa. They are built for speed, long legs, a super flexible spine, non-retractable claws for grip, and a long tail for balance. They can hit 70 miles per hour in short bursts, making them the fastest land animal on the planet. I did a whole video on how cheetahs are fucked up genetically, and actually, I have some very exciting news. If you're new to my channel, you don't know that I used to intern at the Cheetah Conservation Fund in Namibia. I've talked about the work that they do a lot. I bring it up a lot. At the time that this video is coming out, I will be on my way back there, which is fucking crazy. I haven't been there in 6 years, and I've been wanting to make this trip for 6 years.
Look how happy
and it's
she
finally
is.
happening.
Look how
I'm gonna be going
excited.
to make some content about the cheetahs, all the work that they do there, and I am so excited. And Gion's coming with me, so stay tuned for that. I don't really know what else to say. I'm just really excited. I'm gonna be posting some little behind the scenes, like daily updates on Patreon. So if you wanna see those, go check out my Patreon. But yeah, otherwise, you'll be seeing some shit soon. And I'm very excited. Moving on. And I hope you bitches aren't falling asleep yet. We've got 2 more lineages to get through. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
No,
Hopefully,
I'm
you're not
hungry.
using this video to fall asleep. If you are, I'm so sorry that I just did that. Go back to sleep. The rest of you, stay up. Next up on the list is the leopard cat line. They split off from the rest of the wild cats about 6.2 million years ago, with ancestors from 5.9 million years ago that originally evolved in North America before making their way into Asia. The fossil record for these cats is pretty sparse, just a couple of bones from Southeast Asia, but what we lack—
That does seem to be a general trend with a lot of these guys, is the fossil records are sparse. Guess they were good at hiding.
in fossils. We make up for it with some of the cutest fucking cats you will ever see in your entire life. We're gonna start off with a fan favorite, the Pallas's cat. They look like Ebenezer Scrooge. They've got short legs, a flat and wide face, tiny ears, and a coat that makes them look twice as big as they really are. That fluff is not for cute. That is serious, hardcore survival shit. The fur on their belly is nearly twice as long as the fur on their back, which helps them survive in the freezing, dry steppes and rocky deserts of Central Asia, Mongolia, and up into the Himalayas. They're solitary and masters of camouflage. When threatened, they'll freeze and trust their coat to blend in with the rocks rather than run. Pallas's cats are expert hunters of small mammals like pikas and marmots, birds, reptiles, and even insects. They have three main hunting techniques. Stalking. They creep slowly and low to the ground, using vegetation or rocks as cover until close enough to pounce on their prey. Moving and flushing, where they quickly walk through the long grass undergrowth, flushing and capturing unwary small mammals and birds. And ambush. They wait outside a burrow for prey to emerge before attacking. Straightforward shit. They're very good at it, and I think they deserve a round of applause. The next one, you're gonna lose your shit. The rusty spotted cat. At 2 to 4 pounds full grown, they are the smallest wild cats that we know of. They're the size of a fuking guinea pig, dude. They're found in India and—
But they're like crazy hunters, right? Like they've got like the best. Is that okay? I'm gonna let her say, but I know there's like one of these cats that's like super, super teeny weeny baby, itsy bitsy body waddy, and it's got like the best hunting record like ever.
Nepal and Sri Lanka, sticking to dense forests, rocky areas, and sometimes even farmland. These cats are mostly nocturnal, great climbers, and have been seen pouncing on prey from tree branches. What does that prey include? They are so small. Rodents, probably very tiny mice. Birds, probably very small little tiny birds. Reptiles, and insects. Whatever they can manage with their tiny little bodies. Next, The flat-headed cat. Yes, that is their name, due to the flat nature of their head. They're found in Thailand, Malaysia, Borneo, and Sumatra, and get to 3.5 pounds. And this cat is semi-aquatic. Yeah, you might remember them from the video on tiny cats that can swim. I'm gonna give you the rundown again. Flat-headed cats have partially webbed feet and slightly backward slanted teeth, which help to keep their slippery prey inside their mouth. They've been seen swimming across rivers underwater for a decent portion of the time. One record of a flat-headed cat in captivity noted that the cat showed more interest in a mouse in a pond rather than on land. They like wet mouse more than dry mouse.
Wet mouse.
They stick to the brand. Flat-headed cats, like many other small cats, are extremely elusive. Not much more is known about them because they seem to tend to stay away from human-altered habitats.
Smart.
They are just so little. Can't even see them, or you mistake them for a rodent. Even with developing research technologies like better camera traps, scientists set up in different habitats to figure out what's going on there, you just don't see them. The flathead cat is constantly MIA. Some researchers came up with a possible explanation for why this is, and it is objectively very cute. In 2013, they had placed camera traps around a forest reserve in Malaysia. One camera was placed 15 inches off the floor, which I believe is the typical height of each of the camera traps in the study. One night, got knocked over by a macaque to a height of less than 4 inches off the ground. And what do you know? 2 flathead cats, not one but 2, got captured on camera, which led the researchers to speculate maybe the cameras are too high up.
They're just too high.
So small. Just walk right under it, which is why we never see them. How can you not love them?
That's so cute.
They are not the only semi-aquatic cats in the lineage. There's also the fishing cat, very on brand as well. They're also found in Southeast Asia, but are a little bigger than their flathead cousins. They get to like 30 pounds. Fishing cats, surprise, surprise, like to eat fish.
Wouldn't have guessed.
They live in wetland habitats so they can eat the fish and end up with a diet of about 76% fish. The other portion is animals like birds, insects, rodents, etc. Like their cousins, they have partially webbed feet that help them swim and also walk through their muddy wetland habitats. More surface area, like the snowshoes of the Canada lynx. They also have a dual layer coat. The layer closest to their skin is super dense and thick, keeps their skin dry when they're in the water. And then the other layer, the outermost layer, shows off their lovely spots and stripes. They also have a short tail, which is used as a rudder while they're swimming. Next, the leopard cat, a very widespread, small, wild cat.
He looks uncertain. He's like, "What are you doing? What's happening?" He looks confused, a little concerned. This guy.
They look like mini leopards,
disgruntled,
spotted coats, and a body built for climbing and swimming. Leopard cats thrive in everything from tropical forests to grasslands, wetlands, and even high mountains. They're great climbers and swimmers. Their adaptability has allowed them to colonize islands all over Asia. They come out at night, they are solitary, and they eat rodents, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish. And once lumped together with the mainland leopard cat, the Sunda leopard cat is now considered its own species, found in Java, Bali, Sumatra, Borneo, and the Philippines. They're similar to their mainland cousins, but they are its own species. That's all you need to know. And finally, last but not least, we have the domestic cat line. Stop. This does not mean all the cats in this lineage are domestic cats. The only ones that are domestic cats are the domestic cats, which I'll tell you right now is going to be a whole other video. How cats became domesticated, that's being pushed. For now,
they kind of domesticated us, didn't they? Like, they kind of figured out that, like, wait a minute. Food is easier to get if it is given to me.
I'm going to introduce you to their very wild brethren. This lineage was that final split with the leopard cats about 3.4 million years ago, with ancestors that evolved in North America before moving up into Asia and Africa. The fossil record for this group is pretty good, but a lot of it is hard to assign to specific species since the bones all look so similar. The oldest clear fossils are over 4 million years old from Kenya. And now let's get into the first cat, the European wildcat, which definitely looks like a big fluffy tabby. But they are not. They're a wildcat. They're solitary, nocturnal, mostly terrestrial, but can swim and climb when needed. The Afro-Asiatic wildcat, the true ancestor of all domestic cats. They're found across Africa, the Middle East, and into Central and South Asia. And they'll live everywhere, even near human settlements, which
that cat clearly did not give a fuck. He's like, what do you want?
If you think about the domestication of cats, seems like they were the perfect candidates to domesticate themselves. Next, endemic to the high altitude grasslands of the eastern Tibetan plateau, the Chinese mountain cat. They're solitary, mainly nocturnal, and rest in burrows made by badgers. Their diet is mostly rodents and birds, and they are pretty mysterious otherwise, because they're out in the middle of nowhere. That's that. Next, probably the most different looking of all the cats in this lineage is the sand cat. You know
I've heard of them.
Love them. And by the way, their scientific name is Felis margarita. So cheers to that.
Drink up.
Found from North Africa to Southeast Asia. It's the only cat
It is kind of giving Hey Arnold a little bit. Little bit football head, little happening over here.
lives exclusively in true deserts. They've got fur-covered feet to walk on hot sand, thick ear
Oh.
hair for sandstorms, and can get all of their moisture from prey. They're solitary, nocturnal,
Wow.
and dig their own burrows
That's
to escape
awesome.
the heat. They're known as expert snake hunters. This is a cat not to be fucked with. They're able to kill venomous vipers with a quick blow to the head and a bite to the neck. And another deadly cat on the list is also one of the smallest, the black-footed cat.
Yes, okay, the black-footed cat. I couldn't remember which is the smallest cat with the incredible hunting ability. Like, it was this guy. Look. I have some bits and pieces of cat knowledge that has sunken into my brain, and some things that I'm like, I vaguely remember hearing about this one time. And half of it isn't even from like a Casual Geographic or a Lindsay Nicole video. It's from like just random articles or whatever that I find like in my life. So I remembered it was small, and I remembered it had a really good hunting record. So that's as good as I'm gonna get, I think.
Weighing up to 5 pounds, this cat has a hunting success rate that puts lions to shame. With over 50 prey species recorded in its diet, they're solitary,
Wow.
nocturnal, and rest in burrows or termite mounds during the day. And last, but definitely not least, the jungle cat. Stunning! Found from Egypt and the Middle East, through India and Southeast Asia,
chunky boy.
even into southern China. They're solitary and excellent swimmers. And they hunt rodents, birds,
A lot of these
reptiles, amphibians,
blue-green eyes
and
on a lot of
insects,
these
and will even scavenge from larger predators. And that's that. That was a lot of cats. The next episode will be
cats.
focused on the big cats,
cats.
Panthera. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. Check out my Patreon for updates on the trip to Namibia if you're interested. You can also check out our Discord server attached to Patreon and other behind the scenes updates. And for now, stay curious. The world has a lot for us to learn.
Yes,
See ya.
it does. That's so cool. And it's really cool that, again, there's so much that we still don't know. And like I was saying, there are things that it's like I remember learning about or hearing about vaguely, and then trying to just remember the specifics, which is again why I like videos like this, because it does help me remember the specifics of things that I've learned before. And honestly, sometimes I need to learn something like 9 times before it actually sticks in this thing. But that's on me. That's on me. So thank you though again for watching. I really did enjoy this video. I really hope you did too. I hope you're liking the Lindsay Nicole cat videos. And I'm looking forward to the next one. I'll see you there.